So I'm trying to bloody convince Notorious to stream, right? Because he's all like, I might do it when AoE 4 comes out, but there's not many people who would watch me, and I'm like, man, don't doubt yourself, because like I get a pretty good following, and you're a tier or two above me in player skill. But I don't know, man. Like I really feel like the biggest thing that sort of let down the AoEO, or just well not AoEO, but just the AoEs in terms of like their ability to emerge um, as an esport title, because like it's all there. They're well designed games. I mean, as much as AoEO was really sort of unfinished when it was abandoned, and that's not to say Microsoft couldn't have finished the job, because I think they really well and truly could have. It's just that it's sort of with the way things have gone, the burden's fallen to Project Celeste really. Um, but yeah, just all the AoEs, it's sort of never really picked up outside of America and Europe. Whereas MOBAs are huge in Asia. Shooters are huge in Asia. Same deal with Oceania. Same deal with South America. The other RTSs, they're better promoted, for lack of a better word. And it's sort of twofold with both all the parties involved in development and all the parties sort of involved with, I'd say, hardcore play in both PvP and PvE. Because, like it or not, realistically, at least a portion of them sort of have a responsibility, I think, to produce a bit of content to at least inspire the player base. And this isn't necessarily like an insult to Notorious by any means, because realistically, it's a problem that's been going on for 20 years, perhaps even a little bit longer. Like, I've seen footage of Day Nines and Artosis and Tasteless's 2005. What tournament was it? WCG 2005 America coverage. Like, I've seen that shit from 15 years ago. I mean, like, realistically, I probably saw it 2 or 3 years ago first, but, at least 12 years ago. And, like, I'm not the only Australian. There was definitely Australians even that were into all that sort of shit. And as much as, like, I didn't know about Legionnaire and Aussie players from Brood War and shit until, say, 2014 or 15-ish. At least I fucking ended up finding out about it and watching coverage. Like, never really got that experience with even players like Grunt. Like, to find videos of the player that was sort of top tier at the most AoEs in the earlier years, the Korean bloke Grunt that I think he won, 2 big AoE 2 and 2 big AoE 3 tournaments? And even a couple of minor ones, I think. But that's the thing, this is all stuff I sort of really hard to actually come across. And, to find the videos, you can't just fucking watch them on a site. You gotta download the fucking things. No one trusts that shit. So, I mean, I suppose I really got to send out a thank you to the other people that were involved in Goda's Gauntlet that provided casting and even just spectating and coverage. Particularly players like WoW, Spaniard. But, I'm not trying to put anyone down necessarily, but, this is sort of something that we've all as a community, I think, have got to at least continue to work at. And I mean, the other AoEs probably have the same problem too. I mean, well, They almost definitely do. Except for maybe AoE 3. Just because of ESOC. Because, I mean, when you think of ESOC, which AoE do you actually think of? Or do you think of any other than AoE 3? And I mean, AoE 2, like, Voobly. Who knows that name? Americans, Europeans, maybe some Middle Easterners, maybe some South Americans. Fuck. You ask an Aussie gamer in the street about it, and they go, "What the fuck's that? Is that a virus? Is that a chat program? Is that a clone of Discord?" That's probably what they'd ask you. No joke. 95% chance they'd say that. I mean, I suppose, you know, not necessarily a huge insult to Voobly because, I mean, it was a third party thing because I think I never actually got involved with AoE 2, so this is just things that I've read. It's essentially third party stuff. So basically, Voobly more or less stepped in to rehost. I think because they wanted a more competitive, balanced platform because the AoE 2 support essentially discontinued before it got re-released on Steam. So Voobly really sort of bridged the gap in adding new maps, new balance, upping the population to 300, just little things like that. Just, yeah, essentially having a standardized mod rule set for competitive play, a bit like Pro Mod in COD 4. But the thing is, it just never really sort of kicked off globally as well. And AoE 3, you know, I think it just sort of really lingered on in the game and really only relying on ESOC. And I mean, there's a lot of streamers and they do put an awful lot of work, you know, and I've got an awful lot of respect for that. But I mean, I think the community sort of maybe needs to step in and look at trying to promote it a bit better, word of mouth, you know, that sort of thing. Maybe even backing their streamers a bit. Turning up to watch the tourneys and shit. You know, it's just the little things.